We're going to start this video from page 542. And first, we're going to click Exercise 16A. The map is centered on Sonoma County. You can see blue line feature representing the Russian River. Selected Sonoma County cities and towns represented with red points. Only towns near the river are included in this dataset, and adjacent county polygons, 2 layers, Guaneville puzzles, and Guaneville JPEG are turned off at this scale. They are visible only when you zoom in closer. You can set a scale dependency for a layers symbology on the map properties dialog box on the general tab. So on your own, perhaps you want to have the city only Geneville display at the scale. Create a definition query to limit the display of cities, so only Geneville is shown. So now we're going to look around first. We need to fix the data. Chapter 16. Data. Okay, this is cities. Once you fix one and the other should apply. No, if not, now the cities show up. And this is Russian River. And the Guaneville puzzle. Russian River flood zone. Very interesting. And Guaneville JPEG. And now it's turned off. Let's see what is that. Guaneville Bay area. Wow, now finally we got to see. Now we go to the Guaneville bookmark. Guaneville 1. So now we are zooming in on the city. Going to turn this off. On the city limits of Guaneville, and the Guaneville puzzle layer is turned on. And I don't want the flood zone. Depending on the size of your ArcMap window, the dynamic label for Russian River may be in a different spot. We're going to turn the Russian River flood zone on. So this layer shows areas at risk of flooding from Russian River. This is a data set generated by Sonoma County based on Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA 100 and 500 years old flood zone along the Russian River. By selecting puzzles that fall within this flood zone, the county can generate a call list to warn residents of possible flooding. You can get a general idea of which puzzle fall within the flood zone by looking at the map. But next, you will create a selected set of puzzles, so you can generate a puzzle call list. So we're going to zoom to the Geneville bookmark 2, going to turn off the cities and Russian River and flood zone layers. So first we're going to turn this off. One is cities and Russian River, cities and Russian River. Going to turn this on, cities, Russian River. And flood zone, we already turned it off, and bookmark Guaneville 2. Now the orthophotograph graph is turned on at this scale, you will see your map display focused here on the center of town. Remember though, your selection may include parcels that are not in view. First, you will select all parcels that intersect the flood zone layer. This means that any parcel that has a boundary within or touching the boundary of the flood zone layer will be selected. On the menu bar, we're going to click Selection and Selection by Location. And now a window pop up. On the Select by Location dialog box, maintain the default selection method option to select features from. In the target layer list, select granular parcels. And then in the target layer list, select granular parcels. This is the target layer. We did that. For the source layer, click the arrow and click Russian River Flood Zone. And for the spatial selection method for target layer features, choose Intersect the source layer features. And intersect the source layer features, which is here, and we're going to click Apply. And now we can see that those area that along the river that is within the flood zone is selected. The target layer is the layer to which the selection is applied based on its relationship to the source layer. Notice that you can choose any layer in the map from the source and target layers, regardless of whether they are turned on or not. The default selection method is Intersect the source layer feature, but ArcMap recalls whichever selection method was chosen before. Select parcels are outlined in blue. So we're going to turn on the Russian River flood zone again. That you see those selected is within the area. Now you can see the parcel that intersect the flood zones are selected even if it is just a corner of or a boundary of the parcel that intersects the flood zone. You can change the selection color by right-click a layer and modify the option of selection tab of Layer Property dialog box. We're going to open attribute table of parcels and dock it or place it so that it doesn't obscure the map display. So how many parcels are selected? We're going to hit apply again, and it's selected 1,453. So you can look it from here, or we're going to click OK, and then since it's the puzzles, we're going to right click on it, and then since it's white color, you don't see the boundary line. Maybe I change it into red. It will be easier to see. Fill color. Now it's easier to see. And I'm going to right click on Open Attribute Table. I'm going to resize the window. Now we can see total puzzles of 3,170 and 1,043 were being selected. Perhaps you are also interested in locating parcels that are within a certain distance of the flood zone. So now we're going to open the select location tool dialog box again. Select Granawell parcel as a target layer and the Russian River flood zone as a source layer. From the spatial selection method, we're going to again select Intersect the source layer features, and we're going to apply a search distance checkbox. Set the search distance to 400 feet. But I'm going to show you something real quick before we do the second query. And I go on to show you that we can export data. That's the first query, and we're going to save it in chapter 16. My data. I'm going to call this flood zone puzzles, and we're going to save it. And now the first query, first zone puzzles, going to save as a shapefile, and then hit OK. And then new layer will be added to our those will be the flooding area puzzles that we first query. In the second one we're going to do is we go back to selection by location, and we can apply a search distance. Now we don't have to type in 400 feet because we're already here. So we can apply the 400 apply search distance and for the checkbox, and we can search a distance to 400 feet. The search distance settings will be recalled the next time you use the tool, so be sure to clear the box checkbox if you don't want to apply a search distance to the selection the next time you use the tool. Okay, now we're going to click apply and move the select location dialog box out of the way. Put it here so you can see better, and we will see what changes. So within 400, everything select from Gunova puzzles and Russian River flood zone intersect. Within 400, hit apply. And now we can see we have a 2,305 is being selected, and we're going to hit OK. So now perhaps this time of the ascents, and you want to prioritize landowners at highest risk. You will refine your selection to only those puzzles that are most within the flood zone. This will weed out the puzzles that have only a small part of land in the danger zone. All residents of puzzles within the flood zone will be contacted, but you want to determine how many puzzles are likely to require emergency assistance. By calculating the number of puzzles that have boundaries mostly within the flood zone, you can safely estimate and request emergency sources for this area. On the Selected by Location dialog box, maintain the previously chosen target and source. From the spatial selection method, click the arrow, scroll down to bottom list, and click Have their central rate in the source layer feature. So now we're going to do the same. And spatial selection method for target layer features, we're going to scroll down the bottom, have their central rate in the source layer feature. And we're going to uncheck the distance. Once we did that, and we're going to hit OK. And now we have a 1,275 puzzles selected, and we're going to click OK. Now the select target feature that are within the source layer feature and examine the results. Explore other selection parameters if you like. When you finish, choose Select by Location tool dialog box. We're going to close the selection, or you want this to give it to the people that to warn them the area are very has higher risks, that you're going to right click on the puzzle, and you can export as a data and export the report for them, as we learned previously. Now let's move on